Hi artists, welcome to my art studio. Today we're going to talk about using our hands to create a beautiful picture in art. Some of you maybe have heard of something called henna tattoos. Maybe you've had it done before, but henna is a kind of paste that's used to draw onto the hands, and as the paste dries, it starts to chip off, and it doesn't hurt your skin, but it dyes your skin just a little bit so that you get a really interesting design on it. So we're going to look at some of those designs. We're going to use your hands, and we're going to create your very own kind of henna hand collage. So I have some student examples we'll look at. I have some henna designs that we can look at. Okay, and I'll show you how to get started with this today. Sound good? All right, come on down to my drawing station, please. All right, so here's the example I showed to you. Oh, and even before I show you that example, I do have this really great printout that I use to hand out usually to my students. So you'll notice this is the paste. When it's ground up, it's dried up. It comes from a specific shrub-like plant. It's mostly grown in Sudan, Egypt, India, and most North African countries and the Middle East. And essentially what henna is used for in those countries is it's used to decorate the bodies of someone who's getting married. So here's an example. And it's a way for the bride to get to know the family that day, because it takes a really long time to do these beautiful decorations on the feet and on the hands. Okay. So here's one of my student examples we can look at. Here's another student example. I'll talk about how we can add some color in the background. These guys and gals use some water-soluble oil pastels. I don't have that at home today, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it. Oh, this is Mrs. Gagne's, my design. I like the cool colors in the background. Here's some more. All right, it's fun to look at other people's artwork, huh? All right, so I don't have usually paper this big, and I bet you don't usually have paper this big at home. Sometimes I do, it depends. But right now I've got a piece of paper that is about, what is this, a 9 by 12 paper. If you have one that's smaller, that's fine. You just want to think about, you should be able to somehow get 1 or 2, maybe even 3 hands. My hands are probably bigger than the size of yours because my hands are all grown. So I'm going to take a sharp pencil. I'm going to start thinking about the placement of my hands. They can be flat like this. You can put them together. Some people have done like, you know, peace signs. Okay. I'm going to keep it simple though. And I'm just going to come in and trace. When you trace your hand, you want to be able to have that pencil touch every section of your hand. Okay. All right. Don't forget to add your wrist, because you don't want your hand to look like it's just floating. And then maybe, you know, think about this other direction. You can overlap if you want to. I've had students ask me that before. You don't have to, but you can. Maybe, all right, maybe I'll go and overlap. No. Make it a little more complicated. When you overlap, it does get a little more complicated because you have to think about which hand do you want on top and which hand do you want on the bottom. Okay. So after this, I need to come in and I need to outline my hands. And what I like to do that is gives me real like concrete area to start working. So I'm just going to come in and outline my hands. I'm only going to do one right now for the sake of time. I am using a Paper Mate, one of these nice like medium, it's a flare pen. It's a medium size, it's not too big. If you have black Sharpie marker, you can use that. Honestly, if you just have a black pen, a ballpoint pen, that's fine too. I don't think it comes out as well, but if that's what you've got, that's what you've got. We'll make it work. All right, so pretend I already outlined my other one. What I want to do is start thinking about henna designs. I would highly suggest that you go and take a look at some different henna designs that you can research and find so that you can think about some basic shapes, some basic details. What I notice in henna designs, and what I probably like the most about them, is you get these kind of organic shapes that happen. Not everything's a real geometric circle, square, triangle. You don't get as many geometric shapes happening. Sometimes you do, you know, you kind of have like this tulipy bubble, but a lot of organic shapes. And you'll also notice in the designs, let me get even closer, right? All the details, but there's a lot of floral-like details. Okay, and I want you to think about the whole hand, the fingers, the middle of the hand, all those details. Now, looking at this right now is really overwhelming, right? You're like, oh my gosh, ah! And insert. Ah! All right, we're done eyeing. We're gonna break it down. First, let's think about a basic shape to start in the middle. I wouldn't make it teeny, teeny, tiny unless you're really gonna grow out from it. I would think about making kind of a basic, I'm thinking about what I want to add. Let's do one of those like tulip designs, like a leaf design. Do that. And I don't know if I'm gonna like that, but that's okay. And I'm even gonna come in and I'm gonna outline that just a little bit more. All right. And what I'm finding is this is a great way for me to fill up the space and come in and add some details around it. So think about that main shape first. I just decided to make it even bigger by outlining it. I'm still looking at my designs here. This really is helpful for me to come in and think about, you know, what do I want to add inside of those bigger shapes, okay? I'm not quite there yet. I'm just thinking about it. I noticed that in some of the designs I saw, there's sort of this sway here, dividing the finger sort of in half. And a shape that I always seem to draw a lot is a curl, coil. I like coils. So you can even add shapes that you like. I've had people add, you know, a basketball, a soccer ball, a baseball, a heart, a dog, animal that you love. I mean, you can do that in your design. It doesn't have to be just these organic shapes that we're talking about. Come in, think of patterns too, right? I'm doing just a curved line right now. You've got lines, polka dots, zigzags, wavy lines. All right, I'm even thinking, you know what, I'm thinking I'm gonna add like a bracelet here. That'd be kind of cool. I like a bracelet, and I could add some dots in. All right. So you roughly get the idea of coming in and starting to add some details into your design. For my real detail-oriented artists who love going in and adding details, I mean, don't be afraid. You can really kind of get into this. And we're only doing a couple hands, and you're working on this at home. So you've got as much time as you need and you want to spend on this. Usually in the classroom, because I'm usually having 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, 4, 5, 6 hands on a page, I almost encourage artists not to add as much detail, but with this, you definitely could get really detailed if you wanted to. So a successful design is going to have something in the fingers, in the center of the hand, and possibly on the wrist. Okay? You can go in, I like to do with details, you can go in with that black marker, and you can kind of color in some areas so that they stand out some more. So you get more bold black and white design. That's a good way to fill an area as well, okay? So as you're working, right, you might get to like the second hand, you might like, I don't know. Don't forget to look and help yourself figure out, right, online, stop, look, go look at a hand, pick one area in the hand, kind of break it down, look at a shape, go in and add some details. I hope that helps. So once you have your hands drawn completely, you can then come in the background and start adding color in the background some way. I would not encourage you to use colored pencils in the background. I would definitely encourage you to think about using a Crayola marker of some sort, and I'm going to show you something in a moment that will help you. A Crayola marker, a regular watercolor set. If you have watercolors and you have access to that, that'd be great. But I know not everyone has that. I know some of my artists do and some don't. If you don't, it's okay. We will use, I'll show you how to paint with markers. So I like picking a cool color background right now. You can pick whatever colors make keep, you know, your heart, makes your heart happy. What I like to say. It makes your heart happy. That's why we love art so much, right? We can do things to make us happy. So I'm just going to kind of come in, think about adding some color around the edge, and then the magic happens. Let me grab my paintbrush and water. Give me 1 second, I need new water. I was doing another project. New water, new water, new water. All right, welcome back to your regularly scheduled program. Okay, so here we go. Aha, right? I can literally hear some of you going, ah, I get it. Look at that. So if you don't think you have watercolors to fill up the background, aha, you might if you have water-soluble markers. Okay. One last thing, please make sure you only stick to adding color in the background. There's a really specific reason why I ask that. It's because we want contrast to happen. And if we go in and we start adding color on top, those hands, they don't pop as much, and you just don't see the beauty of all the details as well. So I usually give a lot of leniency for adding color where you want to, but for this project, you just ask specifically that we only go in the background. All right, thanks for joining me today. I hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.